Today, everybody, we're making a tier list again. We're going to be ranking every single MULTIVERSUS character idea that my chat has. I just want to know, like, what do you guys want in MULTIVERSUS? And I want to show you, like, why you're wrong. Generator Rex, if I recall, had like a bunch of really cool like weaponry and stuff. Like he had like those humongous metal fists and stuff. It was like Inspector Gadget on crack, right? I think that Generator Rex could have a pretty cool moveset with a bunch of unique attacks that are like big fist, big sword, big everything, right? So yeah, he could be like a Min type character. Like definitely not an S or A tier character in terms of like how much like priority I would put them in. But I do think they're better than D and C. I think their moveset is unique enough that they could be our first little B tier. I think Generator Rex, solid B tier character. I feel like the A and the S tier is like a must have / the ones that are most likely to come, and C and D tier are the ones that are like extremely unlikely to happen or they just don't need to happen. But B tier, like, you know, it could happen. Raven from Teen Titans, huh? I know based off of some leaks, Raven is already going to be making their debut into MULTIVERSUS. I think that's like one of the things I don't like about the leaks is that it kind of ruins a lot of the hype and the fun. I feel like if we include too many DC characters, it starts becoming a DC game and less like this really big celebration of Warner Brothers IP. And to be honest, like Raven is not the most poppin' of the DC characters. Like there are better DC choices we could be choosing. So I think it's like a little whack to even get Raven in there before a lot of more prominent and important DC characters. C tier for Raven. Let's just knock out the obvious ones, the ones that you know that I want. You know, I don't think I need to explain this anymore. I've talked about it in my MULTIVERSUS 2.0 for noobs. I've talked about it in my TikToks. I've talked about it all the time. I definitely don't think we need to bring more Ben 10 discussion, you know what I mean? I feel like we spent more than enough time on Ben 10. Y'all know I want Courage the Cowardly Dog, but I don't think Courage is like S tier. I think Courage is a solid A tier character. I think Courage could have a really fun and unique moveset, and she's just one of my favorite of the Cartoon Network characters. You'd have to be trolling to not think that Harry Potter deserves a slot. The S tier ones are going to be Ben 10, Harry Potter, Gandalf. We got Samurai Jack. Why is he yellow in this one? Is he always yellow? I felt a little racist, dude. Not gonna lie. I think A tier is a good spot to put Mordecai and Rigby. They are newer, so like they're not high on the totem pole. And I talked about Gumball in my video as well, so we got to put Gumball. I think Gumball is also A tier. Now that we got the main characters out of the way, throw them at me. Which characters do you want me to discuss? Let's discuss them. Is Walter White a Warner Brothers property? I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna look up Breaking Bad. No, Sony Pictures Television owns the Breaking Bad franchise. Not discussing Walter White, even though it's a great meme. Emmett from the Lego Movie. Ooh, I like that one. I mean, obviously the Lego Movie is such an amazing animated movie. Unfortunately, the sequel did not do as hot, which is why we're probably never going to see another Lego movie. But I do feel like Lego working with Warner Brothers on both the Lego movies and Lego Batman has shown that Lego is a pretty strong choice for them to add a character like this to a game like this. I think the moveset could be really unique, could be very Lego inspired. It could be a little bit like Minecraft Steve in Smash Bros. If they add Emmett to the game, there's a small, very small chance that my character Mateo could be in MULTIVERSUS. So that makes me a little more excited about Emmett. But I think in general, I think Emmett's a solid like B tier character. I feel like he has a lot of cool things going for him, but he's not high on my totem pole for characters that I would want to see. So who is this game for? Do we want Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice is before my time. I wasn't really even alive when this came out, but knowing Warner Brothers, they're releasing a new Beetlejuice movie, so there's actually a pretty good chance to promote the movie that they'll add Beetlejuice to this game. Is it a smart idea? No, because we saw that with Black Adam. It did not help. It still flopped. But on the other hand, the cool part about Beetlejuice is that he will probably end up having a very unique moveset. And if you can get Michael Keaton to come in and play the voice, I think that'd be really fun. So I think C tier is probably where Beetlejuice belongs. Yeah, just don't say his name 3 times or he'll pop up behind you. Oh, but let's talk about Marceline. So I think Marceline is already confirmed. I think Marceline should have already been in the game. So I think like them wasting any energy on the Banana Guard was like, it's really annoying because I don't want to see like 6 Adventure Time characters. I don't want to see 6 DC characters. I think there's so many untapped potential for characters in MULTIVERSUS that I'm a little bit like upset that we're going to get another Adventure Time character. Had we not gotten Banana Guard, I think Marceline would have been an A tier character, but because we have so many already and I want to see more Cartoon Network characters just get invited, I think Marceline is B tier for me. Very similar to Marceline, I don't think we need another Steven Universe character. We already have Steven. We already have Garnet. I think another Steven Universe character is really just overkill at this point. So I'd probably put Pearl in like C tier. Even if Pearl's moveset could be unique, there's so many other characters that are worth discussing and worth adding. The Ice King too. The Ice King's probably probably going to go in B tier with Marceline. So I'll throw the Ice King in there just to get it out of the way. I wouldn't mind them being added a lot later once we get some of these S tier ones that are missing right now, you know? Mad Max! If you guys don't know, Mad Max Fury Road is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. I have a letterbox, so you guys can check it out. Furiosa is fire. Furiosa is gas. I think Mad Max could be really, really fun in this game. I think it's going to be like one or the other. I don't think we're going to get both characters. I don't think we need both characters. Furiosa probably would have a little bit of a cooler design, but I think Mad Max is more iconic. You just give him something to do with his car, something to do with a couple of his like crazy stuff that he's used in all of the other Mad Max movies. He kind of becomes like this really interesting utility character, similar to Link in how many different items that he has, but different in that he has guns and stuff too. There's something really cool and really inspired about choosing a character like Mad Max for this game. I would probably put Mad Max in like A tier. I think it's a very inspired choice. Whoever suggested that is an absolute Chad. I think that we don't need another creepy clown, you know, because we have the Joker and stuff, but just the ability to see this as like a moveset, like the, you know what I mean? You just like kick people. It's like your down special or something. You just like, but besides literally that, I don't love the idea of adding Pennywise to the game. Is he high on the priority list? Heck no. No one's like a Pennywise fan the way that people are fans of Jason Voorhees or Freddy Krueger and stuff. So I'll put Pennywise in C tier. The balloon is clipping over, so. Osmosis Jones. Yo, that's a play. Hold up. I love that movie growing up, and then later it became a television show. I think it was really cool. But of all the cartoons we could be choosing, it is definitely a deeper cut. You know what I mean? I feel like most of y'all don't even know who these are, right? To be fair and balanced, C tier. Oh my God, Godzilla though. Probably not the best Godzilla image. I'm sorry for this really whack Godzilla image, but whatever. We already had a big character be showcased to us in the form of the Iron Giant. So I do think Godzilla could work. And I've heard rumor that Godzilla is already semi-confirmed for this game. But yeah, Godzilla would have a really awesome, unique moveset. Godzilla's iconic. If you haven't seen Godzilla -1, it's one of the best movies ever. If you like Godzilla versus Kong, sure. I think Godzilla is a solid A tier. Getting Godzilla would be really, really cool. We got to get King Kong out of the way, of course. King Kong is also the other half of this monster mania. I do find King Kong to be a little bit less interesting, in all honesty. He's just a big monkey. Unless he, like, his entire moveset just becomes Donkey Kong, I don't see myself being that interested in seeing a monkey throw planes at people and stuff. Like, I don't know about you guys, but the big monkey can be fun, but it can also be a little bit boring. But since he is also an icon, I can't put him any lower than like B tier. So I think B tier is a safe space to put King Kong. Look how small he got. The Mask. See, this is what I'm talking about. When I say deep cuts, this is what I want to see. If you guys have never seen this movie, you should. It's iconic. It is literally so fire. This is like my childhood. It technically came out before I was born, but I did watch it as a kid a bunch on VHS. I do think this would be a really freaking unique and fun character. That Looney Tunes vibe while also kind of giving you the Joker vibe. He's just a really cool looking character. Also, the color scheme is really fun, having this bright yellow character just like exist with the zoot suit on. Not that I have high hopes for him, but I definitely think B tier is a solid spot to put the Mask. If they could get Jim Carrey to voice this character again, I'd put him in A tier, but I doubt it. They'll probably get some like knockoff. Chris McLean from Total Drama. I don't know how this would work. It's a meme, but I don't want more joke characters. We already got Banana Guard. I'm gonna put Chris McLean in D tier. Warner Bros. Japan owns part of JoJo, so we could get Jotaro Dio. This would be crazy. Is that a JoJo reference? Imagine seeing JoJo in Multiverses. I think that would be mind-blowing. I think people would get super duper hyped. I think a lot of people playing this game unironically because it's so funny that he's in this game. He's such an iconic anime character. The likelihood of Jotaro coming in is very low, but for the meme, I think A tier is fair. Okay, I want to talk about Daffy Duck because Daffy Duck is like the Luigi to Bugs Bunny's Mario, right? I saw some really cool video. I forget which one it was, but they designed Daffy Duck for Multiverses and they made it so that he can throw his bill like a boomerang and it comes back, which is really clever. Especially for a game that emphasizes the 2v2 mechanic. You would think that they would give Bugs his #1 best man, best friend. Yeah, I think Daffy Duck is a shoo-in and should definitely be in this game at some point. I'm not desperate for Daffy, so A tier. But yeah, I heard Ruby Rose is confirmed. I don't know much about this game. I just love that this character has a stupidly big scythe thing to attack with, so that alone makes it A tier. I think that's going to be a really fun and clever moveset. So Austin Powers, hold up. What are these old folks in my chat? Austin Powers would be funny. If they got Mike Myers to reprise his role and play the voice of Austin Powers, I think this could be one of the funniest and most clever characters. But is it like that important of a character? Not really. I think it's like on the same level as The Mask. It'd be fun if they got in, and they'd be higher tier if they can get the actual actor to play the voice. But I think B is like a safe space to put Austin Powers, you know? Neo from the Matrix. I feel like Neo from the Matrix is basically confirmed because we have Agent Smith. But let's talk about Neo, because Neo is honestly freaking sick. My childhood consisted of a lot of the Matrix viewings. I watched it like 6 or 7 times as a kid. Crazy. It was technically rated R, but don't ask me how I watched it. Okay, I'm not perfect. Neo though is freaking sick. The ability to stop bullets as one of your abilities. If you can like dodge or make like a bullet time happen, like where you slow-mo. If Agent Smith's already in the game, it might make Neo a little bit repetitive, redundant in a way, but I feel like they have to include Neo. Neo's the one. Neo has its own unique moveset. If they get Keanu Reeves to reprise his role, easy S tier for sure. Neo is such a freaking icon. We need to have Neo in this game as soon as possible. S tier. I know a lot of people really like Elf. Elf is like a very, oh, that's a terrible PNG. The most low-res PNG you've ever seen. Okay, so Elf is like a very iconic Christmas movie, but I don't really like Christmas characters being incorporated on year-round games. I don't think Elf would have that many really cool movesets. I also find Will Ferrell kind of annoying these days. Yeah, the movie's funny. Yeah, the movie's charming. But like, we have D's here for a reason. Fred Flintstone could have some fun movesets. You have him like with his running animation, run over people, get his like move his little car and stuff. But like, we don't need Fred Flintstone, guys. Like, he's just the vitamin guy. You know what I'm talking about? I'd probably put him in the same boat over here in C tier. Paul Atreides would be kind of cool. Dune is one of the most popular movies that came out recently. Movie theaters can barely sell out tickets, but Dune is over here sweeping. He's the Messiah. It's very popular. Timothée Chalamet made him really hot. Let's talk about the moveset. They can incorporate a bit of the Fremens, their knife skills, maybe he worm rides as part of his like ability on off stage. In the air, a worm just comes. Like, there's a lot of really cool different ways that you could incorporate the entire Dune universe with Paul Atreides' moveset, but it does feel like a little bit shallow of a moveset. Silence! Not as hype as seeing some of these other characters. Probably put Paul Atreides over here in like B tier. Okay, Johnny Bravo, guys. I wasn't the biggest fan of Johnny Bravo growing up. I felt like he was kind of one note, kind of one big bit, one joke. I think of the cartoon era, there is some more interesting characters with probably more interesting movesets that we could derive from the Powerpuff Girls, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. There are definitely some characters in there that have a little bit more sauce than Johnny Bravo. Come on, guys. Like, he's just going to be this tanky dude, and we have plenty of dudes that just punch each other. He's funny, and he should at least have some cameo of some sorts. So I'd probably put him in C tier. I didn't watch like regular show or Adventure Time or Gumball, but I've seen so many clips of them in Twitter and then some YouTube clips every now and then, and it showed me like, oh, these characters clearly have like longevity. I have not seen a single Johnny Test clip pop up in my feed, which tells me that you guys that grew up watching Johnny Test do not give a flying about this guy anymore. You feel me? In terms of his cultural relevancy, it's not there. Mordecai and Rigby and Gumball, why do I know their names so vividly without watching their show? Because y'all care about these characters. I have no info on Johnny Test. I just know that Johnny Test does not pass my test, the test of time. So D tier. Sorry, all the Johnny Test fans, all 2 of you. It's time to talk about Jon Snow. Look, guys, I love Game of Thrones. The first 4 seasons. I like the 5th season. I tolerate the 6th. I hate the 7th, and the 8th should burn in hell. Jon Snow would be kind of a boring character. We already have Arya Stark, and her entire moveset is like made up bullshit. You know what I mean? There's nothing that her moveset has to do really with the show besides like the pie and the fact that she has a sword. She doesn't steal faces really. She doesn't do these other things, but also she doesn't really do it in the show anyway. So while I love Game of Thrones, let's be honest here, of all the Game of Thrones characters, Jon Snow would be kind of a boring one to choose with very, very minimal movesets that would be any different from Arya Stark. I like Jon Snow as a person, as a character. I love Game of Thrones, but like, we have D tier for a reason. Jon Snow, he knows nothing. He doesn't deserve to be in this game. Hold up. Why does he kind of look like Why does he look like Imperial Hal? Like, put him side by side. Kind of has Imperial Hal's vibes. Sheldon Cooper, The Big Bang Theory at one point was one of the most watched shows of all time. Does that mean he deserves to be in this game? Kind of. Like, low-key, he might have a more unique moveset than Jon Snow. I don't really want to see him in here, but I feel like they could do something really clever with Sheldon Cooper, so I can't put him any lower than like C tier. And while we're at it, let's talk about young, stupid, freaking young Sheldon. I absolutely hate young Sheldon. I see some clips sometimes on TikTok and I'm like, oh my god, this show, how is this show number one? Young Sheldon, D tier. I don't even know. So like, of all Looney Tunes characters, definitely not even close to Daffy's level. He's less relevant than Taz, less relevant than even Marvin the Martian. I think Porky Pig low-key is an underwhelming choice and uninspired choice. I think easy D tier for Porky Pig. Like, why do we want to see Porky Pig that bad? We don't. Popeye is so cool. Give him the spinach. The problem is that like his entire moveset is Shaggy. They had to make up a moveset for Shaggy, which is really funny and kind of a meme. But like, let's think about it. Shaggy has that ability to like level up. That would essentially be the equivalent of Popeye eating his spinach. Everything he does is all about punching and stuff. I bet you he would have the exact same moveset as Shaggy. And that's simultaneously disappointing, but they could also do something kind of cool in the vein of Smash Bros. And add Popeye as an Echo Fighter to Shaggy. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like a skin for Shaggy is Popeye. I think that would be really clever and a really smart way to incorporate Popeye. If they do it that way and it doesn't require as much effort, it just becomes like this skin that you can wear. I think that would actually be really cool. And I think Popeye, for that reason, could be a solid like A tier character. Okay, Willy Wonka is actually kind of a hype choice because Willy Wonka is a pretty freaking iconic character. I think there's a lot of cool things you could do. You could have him shoot Oompa Loompas and chocolate and stuff at people. Not top of my totem pole either, but I think it's funnier. I think the reason why I'm doing this, it's so much funnier to put like Timothy Chalamet next to each other. Look at that. I got two Timmys next to each other. B tier. I think B tier's fair. I think the Animaniacs are actually such a fire choice. This would be the most Pokemon trainer-like characters to be added, but I genuinely cannot see them being anything but A tier. I think they're super solid. I think they're some of the most like iconic, original Warner Brothers characters besides the Looney Tunes. I think there's a lot of strong potential for them. Like Uncle Grandpa, what a stupid ass show. How was this show greenlit? I saw like one episode and I lost some brain cells. I'm not even kidding. D tier. Putting him next to Porky Pig is almost disgraceful. Chowder had its moments, dude. Chowder was freaking funny. But like, I don't feel like his moveset would be that clever. C for Chowder. I love Smiling Friends. I think Smiling Friends is a very great show. Would they make for a good fighter in this game? I'm not 100% sure. Let's be honest, like, I don't know what their moveset would really entail. I can't realistically say that it'd be a great choice to have Pim or Charlie in this game. Cartman is literally like such an icon at this point. It would be ridiculous not to include him. His moveset could include so many different references to the thousands of episodes that South Park has created. To be completely honest, like, I like South Park. I liked it a lot more growing up. I feel like nowadays it's like not as enjoyable. I would also love to see what Cartman looks like in 3D, but if they do keep him in paper, that would be an easy S tier addition. Yo, Elmo. Literally did not think of the fact that we could have Elmo in this, and that's kind of fire. You got the Elmo's World side of him too. La 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 la. Elmo's World. You got the memes, like they can incorporate the meme where like Elmo's on fire and stuff. They could have Rocco. He throws Rocco around because he hates Rocco so much. Dude, Elmo would actually be gas. I think we're putting Elmo in S tier, dude. That's crazy. I had no idea, dude. Ed and Eddie actually fulfills the Pokemon trainer style the best. I feel like Ed and Eddie is built like this. They already have the Squirtle type character, the small runt, that's Eddie. Double D plays more like the Ivysaur type, a little bit like slightly heavier, a little more like ranged attacks and stuff. And then Ed is this stupid brawly tank. And you swap between the three, and I think that would be super duper hype. I think the idea of Ed and Eddie is something that I actually think should be incorporated as soon as they possibly can, because I freaking love Ed and Eddie. Double D! Yeah, Ed and Eddie is another easy S tier for me. The issue with the Powerpuff Girls for me, they're distinct in their characterization, but they're not really as distinct when it comes to their moveset. And I think that's what holds them back from being an S tier choice for me. They're so iconic though, so I definitely think they're probably still gonna be like an A tier. Number 1 from Codename Kids Next door. Move aside, adult. I freaking love Kids Next Door. I always thought that it was one of the most creative and clever shows ever. I think that the moveset that number one would have would be super cool. I think his like weaponry, he'd be a little bit more of a ranged attacker. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in A tier. Number one, Nigel Uno would be a freaking dope addition to this game. You know who else should be in MULTIVERSUS? My mom. Yeah, he doesn't belong in MULTIVERSUS, let's be honest. Captain Knuckles from Flapjack? If they incorporate him with like the whale and his like sailing and also has like Flapjack that he throws around and abuses, I think B tier for Captain Knuckles is fair. Master Wayne, I think I must be here to help you. I don't think I should be in this game. Put me in D tier, Master Wayne. I don't really feel like the Flash plays well in any of the games he's in. I think the Flash is in like the Mortal Kombat versus DC fighting game. I never liked the Flash or Superman in these games because they always feel like you can't truly make him a super speedster. He's over here like, you should not be losing to freaking Finn. You shouldn't be losing to freaking anything if you're the Flash, right? But I think the Flash is like a C tier character. Grimm! Dude, I love his Jamaican accent. I think it's so sick. I always thought that was one of the coolest parts about Grimm. I think Grimm could represent that era pretty well. I don't think it's as important as any of the ones in A tier though, but I have such a soft spot for Grimm and his really thick Jamaican accent. I think B tier is a fair spot for Grimm. I never liked Cow and Chicken, and I don't think they'd make for an interesting moveset. I think they're better characters D tier. God, I like Static Shock. If they're gonna add any DC characters to this game, they better freaking go out of the way to add Static Shock. I think that Static Shock represents a pretty cool era of not only DC Comics, but also Cartoon Network. Because, I mean, I just think his show was super underrated, and I think his moveset could be very, very unique, and he'd be a very strong pick to be added to the game. I love Static Shock. Let's get some DC stuff out of the way then. Blue Beetle. I mean, the movie flopped, but I still love my boy Zolo. Static Shock fulfills my need for a cool, younger superhero type character, but I think Blue Beetle, B for Blue Beetle, I think is a fair spot. I've seen pictures of Craig on the internet and stuff. He seems really cool. I don't have enough info on him, but every time I've seen him on like Twitter threads or on Instagram stories or TikToks, people seem like they have a lot of really cool stuff to say about Craig. I don't know exactly what his moveset could entail, but for now I'm just gonna put him in B tier. I think Legolas, like Gandalf is already in S tier, so I think Legolas is like less needed, but would be really cool. Here's Blue for Foz's Home for Imaginary Friends. Let's talk about Blue. Y'all ever watch Foz's Home for Imaginary Friends? Well, I don't think Blue would have a good moveset, so let's be honest here. Blue's like, as much as I like Blue, he's probably like a C tier character. If they can come up with a clever moveset that incorporates the other Imaginary Friends, I feel like Blue would be a better choice, but like, let's be honest, he'd probably be the easiest to animate those, so that makes it a little bit like of a higher character, but I feel like other Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends characters could be a better pick, like Wilt, Coco, but even then, like I feel like they all have to kind of be incorporated together. They're better as a ensemble and they don't really work on their own. Yeah, I've heard some good things about the Lich. Having like a villain is pretty cool, but like I said, like there's so many Adventure Time characters. The Ice King and Marceline are probably still better bets than the Lich, let's be honest here. But I'll still put it in here as a discussion. How come we have not talked about Dexter yet? No, you are stupid. Let me see if I can pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up right now, dude. I'm gonna pull it up.
You are stupid. You are stupid. Don't forget.
You are stupid. Probably already been confirmed to come. We already have Dexter's laboratory map, but like, come on, Dexter is iconic. Could have a crazy cool moveset. S tier. The Flea from Mucha Lucha. I remember back in the day, they were trying to capitalize on the Latino market. Mucha Lucha was targeted to me. I enjoyed the show. It was cool, but I don't think it's as important to include a Mucha Lucha character. The show did not last that long. C tier is probably the best way to put it. Dude, I don't know if I feel good about Annabelle being a choice. There's so many more iconic scary movie characters. Annabelle's lame. It's just a doll. So Freddy Krueger, we already have Jason Voorhees. I think Freddy Krueger makes a ton of sense. The slasher mechanic is going to be really fun to see. I'd probably put him like right here in B tier. I heard rumor that Kai from Ninjago is actually like gonna already be in the game. If Emmett's in B tier, we have to put Kai in B tier. But Kai would actually have a more like interesting moveset than Emmett. Yo, get that boy in this game, and then Vincent can tell people to put Mateo in the game. It'd be really cool. I didn't want to have to talk about Sherlock Holmes. I think there's some potential in having a character be like a detective type character, but the problem is that Velma already kind of does a lot of those things. I don't really know how Sherlock Holmes could like really fit in like the grand scheme of things. Probably D tier. The movie Blade Runner is very good. Would it make for a good character in MULTIVERSUS? No, he's just a robot with a gun. Lola Bunny would be actually a pretty cool Echo Fighter for bugs. So because I know that they could actually bring Lola in as like an Echo Fighter, I think C tier is actually a pretty good spot for Lola Bunny. Poison Ivy, a very iconic villain turned into kind of an anti-hero with the Harley Quinn show. Poison Ivy is not really like in the DC realm of things as important as other characters. I wouldn't be upset to see Poison Ivy, and I think Poison Ivy would have a pretty cool, unique moveset, so I put Poison Ivy like in C tier. Mike Tyson from Mike Tyson Adventures. A semi-joke character. Do we really want to include Mike Tyson in this game? Probably not. Yeah, D tier. Jackie Chan Adventures was one of my favorite shows growing up, and Jackie Chan Adventures is actually such a freaking crazy idea for a character. Why did nobody bring this up before? Thank you for coming in here, Pop-Tart, with an absolute banger. I'm putting it in an S tier. Probably A tier. I'll put him A tier. Like, Cyborg could play like Samus, so I think there's a little bit of potential with Cyborg, but I don't feel like Cyborg is like that much of a must pick. But I think C tier for Cyborg. Shaolin Showdown's Omi. I like that. The different talismans that they find and stuff, the different stuff could make for a really interesting and unique moveset. He's a little bit more of a deep cut, which is why I'm putting him in B tier, but I do think that Omi from Shaolin Showdown is a pretty cool idea. Let's talk about Camp Lazlo. I always hated this show. I could care less if this character even considered. Let's put him in D tier immediately. God, I don't care for Lazlo. That show sucked. Here is the final end result of the tier list of all the characters that you guys suggested. Some suggestions I put myself out there. But yeah, this is my list right now. I think it's a pretty funny list. Like, if with no context, this is the most strange list you've ever seen, right? Like, it's pretty crazy. Well, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this.